Well, every year, Hollywood spends millions and millions of dollars to harness the talents of thousands of people to create hundreds of motion pictures.
Boy, it is a huge business. The prints are distributed to the theaters, the copies to video and digital media are dubbed, and then that original film goes somewhere. Photojournalist Grady Reid and I traveled to that somewhere and discovered that it's the literal underground cinema.
And God is my witness, I'll never be hungry again.
When Gone with the Wind hit the silver screen back in 1939, it reflected the state of the cinematic art, all the glamour, romance, and power of Hollywood. But you won't believe where that film is today. Hutchinson, Kansas, a salt mining town, among other things. Hard to believe, but this is the front door to a mine where Hollywood salts away its old films. We leave the blue skies behind and head below ground.
We're going to journey 650 feet straight down underground. Take us about 60 seconds to go 650 feet.
Moves right along, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, this is amazing.
It's kind of overwhelming, isn't it?
Wow.
That's KU film professor Chuck Berg. He's known about this place for years, and finally seeing it is a big thrill.
Box after box after box. Okay. So Lucas's classic Star Wars is right here. I thought I felt the Force.
A huge chunk of Hollywood has been stored here since the 60s. Names you know well. MGM, Turner Entertainment, Sony Pictures, 20th Century Fox, Warner Brothers. Rows and rows of cinema history from the great to the cult to the relatively unknown.
You can imagine what it's like for a film professor to come into direct physical contact with all of these extraordinary, parts of our cinematic legacy. It's just really fantastic.
Lee Spence is president of Underground Vaults and Storage and our guide through the endless rows of boxes.
Yeah, you really do. You feel like you're preserving the whole movie industry right here in the salt mine.
And preservation is what this place is all about. Behind this door, UVS is finishing out another vault where even more film will be stored. A constant 68 degrees, 40% humidity, and perfect for storing sensitive materials like film. And at this depth, it's hard to imagine a more secure location for the product of millions of invested dollars and man-hours.
The creative energies, the financial input, all of these titles that represent various epics in Hollywood, the industry finally realized, what an extraordinary gold mine they were sitting on, a gold mine and a salt mine.
So why is it so valuable? Well, among many reasons, including just because it is that with programming demands these days, this material just might be dusted off to enjoy a new life.
Oh, for all of us that love movies and indeed, have some sort of appreciation for the history of not only movies but television, to have all of this, original material here, it's a treasure trove.
It's arguable whether it's treasure, but 14 seasons worth of film from TV's Knots Landing is part of the trove, and it's this man's job to catalog it for the show's owners, entering data that's emailed to Hollywood, perhaps in preparation for some new syndication effort. In remote vaults, other workers labor away, entering data in solitude as if exiled to some special level of the underworld. We spend hours no sooner spotting one film classic than stumbling on another, from the noteworthy to the notorious. So we come across this box, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. The negatives right here, Paul Newman, Robert Redford. It's a classic. You look 2 boxes down. You remember this big monster TV flop, Cop Rock? Here's another one of those strange juxtapositions here. Up here you've got the wholesome, ultra-wholesome Sound of Music. And then down here, the X-rated Fritz the Cat. And finally, Gone with the Wind, shelved next to the Dirty Dozen and Dr. Zhivago. Now we can leave, not because we're through nosing around, but because the last elevator is headed up from this surreal world that, looking back, is just a speck of light. So the next time you watch Gone with the Wind, remember, the real Scarlett is pining away for Rhett Butler, not in Hollywood, but beneath the Kansas plains.
After all, tomorrow is another day.
And And it's certainly worth mentioning here that Underground Vaults and Storage has more customers than just the movie industry. There's every conceivable item we discovered: stamp, coin, and silver collections, wedding dresses, corporate records of all kinds. The secret formulas for Wrigley's chewing gum are down there, and somewhere down there, and the formula for the Uncola 7-Up is stored there as well. And there are human tissue samples, and there's even a U.S. government storage locker, government stuff, origin unknown, behind a locked steel door. And you know what's coming here. We talked with Lee Spence. We asked him if he could tell us what was behind this steel door, and he said he could tell us, but then he'd have to kill us. So we never found out.
We just kicked back and ate our popcorn and
watched the movies. It really comes back to the movies. So that was really probably the neatest thing of the whole
You just said experience. It was just a thrill. I mean, Gone with the Wind.
It was one of the most interesting things I've ever been involved with. We felt very privileged, and we thank everyone, Chuck Berg, Lee Spence, everyone who's involved.
It's fascinating. Something a lot of people don't know is right here in Kansas.
Well, they know now, hopefully.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely. Great.